Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order. I am CAO Anthony Burdett. Our first item of business will be the oaths of office, and we have our Corporal Chad Hurdle, who will be swearing in our new mayor and council. And we'll, invite Corporal Chad Hurdle up to the table here and let you take that away.
Great. Thanks for inviting me here for this evening, and I think they're in alphabetical order, but I'll call on the mayor to come up first. All right, so this is a oath of office for the town of Fort McLeod. It says, I, Brent Fader, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and do to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of mayor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
So I, Brent Fader, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of mayor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
Yeah, you can get that sign there up here. And that's for Anthony.
Very good. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Is it on now? Okay, perfect. Next person will be Christina Fox. So this again is the oath of office for the town of Fort McLeod. It says, I, Christina Fox, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
So, I, Christina Fox, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
And then I'll get you to sign the administrative office and stuff while you're up here.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, next is Jim Monteith. I apologize if I get any names wrong. I butcher spelling all the time. This is the oath of office for the town of Fort McLeod. I, Jim Monteith, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
I, Jim Monteith, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
I'll sign here first. Okay.
What happens if I screw this up and you've witnessed me?
Then we'll have another copy.
Oh, okay.
And then there's this other form here as well for the administrative oath. So I'll read that out later for everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, next up will be Jamit Patel. So it says, I, Jamit Patel, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
I do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
Just sign here. And then sign over here as well. So don't run away.
Thank you so much.
And next up is Sean Patience. So it says, oath of office for the town of Fort McLeod. I, Sean Patience, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
I, Sean Patience, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
Get your sign there. And then you're going to sign this document as well. Up here. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least is Aaron Poitras. I might have spelled that wrong. One more? That's the last one I have. Unless if it's stuck. There we go. There. Problem solved. It says, oath of office down in Fort McLeod. I, Aaron Poitras, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
I, Aaron Poitras, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
Just sign here. And sign right over here. Awesome. Congratulations. All right. Come on up, David Orr. So, oath of office for the town of Fort McLeod. I, David Orr, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
I, David Orr, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to the law the office of counselor for the town of Fort McLeod. So help me God.
All right, you'll sign here. And then you'll sign here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, for those of you at home, there was another document that they were signing up here. It's the Town of Fort McLeod's Council Chief Administrative Officer Covenant. So it's a document that they sign for things that they're agreeing on. So it's we as members of council will carry out our responsibilities as set out in the applicable legislation to the best of our abilities, develop policies and programs for the Town of Fort McLeod that are necessary or desirable for all or a part of the town. They will regularly evaluate the policies and programs of the town. They will not exercise a power or function or perform a duty that is assigned to the chief administrative officer or designated officer. They will review the background information and advice made available to us by administration prior to rendering decision. Seek further input when we are unsure of the issues associated with a particular course of action or uncertain as to relevant factors that might impact our decision making. Refer any complaints, either written or verbal, about the actions of administration to the CAO for review, comment, and follow-up as appropriate. Refrain from making any commitments on behalf of council to individuals, citizens, or groups other than to take the request up with council or CAO and to respond appropriately. Participate in council's decision-making process. Refrain from making disparaging comments in public administration. Act as a good stewards of the town. Maintain high standards of ethical conduct, provide effective leadership by establishing annual or longer-term goals and priorities, and ensure that we formally and in writing evaluate the performance of the CAO at least once annually. And then just everyone sign the document there. I'll just date it. And there's a document for you, Anthony, to come up here and sign. You can read that one out if you like.
Sure, I'll read that. I, the Chief Administrative Officer, will carry out my responsibilities as set out in the applicable legislation to the best of my abilities, conduct myself as your chief policy advisor in an honest and ethical manner, respect council and individual councilors, provide advice on all issues which is professionally sound, ethical, complete, legal, and in accordance with the policies and objectives of council, guide the actions of the administration so that they are consistent with the policies and objectives of council, act only on the will of council as a whole as established by the resolutions, policies, and bylaws of council of the town of Fort Macleod, forward any complaints or concerns of council to the appropriate department and individual, follow up to ensure that any complaints are reasonably and promptly addressed, ensure that council has access to the reasonable decision options as well as my recommendation as your CAO, bring forward emerging issues to assist council in developing effective policies and programs in a timely fashion, maintain a current understanding of the applicable legislation as well as relevant programs, policies, and initiatives of the provincial and federal governments, take corrective action when errors or concerns are identified with the operation of the town, listen carefully to the concerns of council vis-a-vis my performance and seek to improve any deficiencies on an ongoing basis, track council's policies and programs in sufficient detail so as to be able to advise council of relevant matters, including but not limited to progress on priorities, anticipated problems, or future decision-making junctures.
I can date it. I think that concludes all the swearing in there and signing.
Yeah, we'll take a quick recess for a photo and whatever else, and we'll reconvene as soon as, I would say, no more than 10 minutes at the most. Very good, thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Congratulations, and look forward to 4 years around this table together. And wish you all the very best. Thank you, administration, for helping get this day organized with pictures this afternoon and our organizational meeting now, and right after our regular council meeting. So first tonight, we'll approve the agenda. I'll request a motion to approve the agenda for the organizational meeting. And Councillor Fox makes that motion. Call the question, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. First order of business is a quick in-camera. We typically do this before we make appointments, just to make sure that there's any questions that they can be discussed in camera. This shouldn't take long, so I'll request a motion from council to go in camera for personnel discussion. Councillor Fox makes that motion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We're in camera for just a few moments. All right, sorry about the little delay. That took longer than we had anticipated. First term on council, some software glitches, and we're back, so we got what we need. Going on to the next order of business, deputy mayor schedule. We had a recommended schedule. And if everyone is good with that schedule, I request a motion to approve the schedule as presented. Councillor Orr makes that motion. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Congratulations, Councillor Fox. You're next up. Council meeting dates are our next item on the agenda. We got a whole list with a lot of detail. I don't think there's a lot of questions on that. If anyone has any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, a motion to approve the council meeting dates as presented. Councillor Fox makes that motion. Councillor Patel, we're just on council meeting dates. The motion's on the floor to approve as presented. Are you good with going to question on that? Call it the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Going to council appointments, we were in camera and discussed this in depth. I believe we have our lists confirmed and finalized. I would request a motion from council to approve the list as was discussed in camera for our council appointments. Anyone prepared to make that motion? Councillor Poitras makes that motion. Any further discussion or questions on that? Seeing none, call to questions. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to members at large, we have a longer list of appointments. We do have still some vacancies, so those will be advertised as required. Do we do this one by one per group, or do we do them all? Per committee? Yeah, not as a full motion with all the committees. Okay, we'll start with Built Heritage Advisory Board. In camera, we've had a discussion and the nominations that would be supported by council was discussed. Anyone prepared to make a motion to approve Donna Bird and Tyson Knopf to the Built Heritage Advisory Board? Councillor Patience makes that motion. Any further discussion? Call to question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. For the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, we had 3 candidates that had applied. Anyone? We have had some discussions. Council supported the appointment of Chantel, don't see her last name, Dalshawk, and Paige Davel as appointees. Anyone prepared to make that motion? Councillor Fox makes the motion. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, we'll call to question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. I don't believe we had any Environment Committee nominees or applicants. FCSS, we had 2. We needed 1. I believe council is supporting the nomination or appointment of Eddie Rigaud. Is the council member prepared to make that a motion? Councillor Monteith makes that motion. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, we'll call to question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. For the Fort Macleod Housing Committee, we had 4 applications. 1 was on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, and then 3 members at large. And I understand council to support the appointment of all 4 applicants. Council member prepared to make that a motion? Councillor Orr makes that a motion. Any further discussion or questions? Call to question. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. For the Fort Macleod Library Board, we have Caitlin Daniels as the only applicant. Council member prepared to make a motion. Councillor Fox makes that a motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call to question. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Regarding the MPC, we had 5 applicants. We need 3 with an alternate. In discussion, council supported the appointees of David Arnold Dewson, Tyson Knopf, and Joe Regel, with the alternate of Greg Beekman. Is council member prepared to make that a motion? Councilor Patel makes that a motion. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, call to question. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And for the Willow Creek Foundation, we had 1 member at large apply, Pam Young. And I believe we need a term length in this motion as well. Councilor Monteith, would you be prepared to make that a motion? Is the term critical? Is it 1 or a 3-year term? Do we know? Do we know if it's a 1 or a 3-year term? Oh, 3 years? Okay. All right, so the motion's on the floor to appoint Pam Young for a 3-year term with the Willow Creek Foundation. Call to question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Our organizational council meeting for 2025 has been completed and we are adjourned. We will reconvene immediately thereafter for our regular council meeting for this evening. Thank you.